What up, Reject Nation? We are here today to do a little trailer react on, as per usual, I guess. It's just what's happening. So much is coming out. There's so much to cover. So many trailers. My God.
Summer's 4 months away.
I know.
That's what happens.
Well, we are not live today. It is a pre-tape because of circumstances that we'll not go into.
And copyright.
But we are here, though. We are here to do it. We got 4 trailers we're going to cover. Benefit of it being a pre-tape is you guys can hop around now to whichever one you actually want to cover. But let me give you a little bit of disclaimer because it's going to be a little bit funky today because we don't have a setup for 3 people. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to cover Toy Story 5. It's going to be Coy and Greg. And then we're going to do Mandalorian and Grogu. That's going to be Coy and Michael, our Star Wars expert. And then we're going to do Greg and Michael because he's also a Game of Thrones expert. And then we're going to wrap it up with Coy and Greg for The Mummy. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. All right, Coy, how you feeling?
I'm various levels of excited for each of these. It also feels weird that it's rainy season in LA, which I know means it's spring, but it doesn't feel like for 4 months out from one of the biggest summers ever. Like, does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
I know this summer is one of the all-timers when we looked at the schedule this year. None of it feels like it's within, like, reach. Like, I don't know if it's the marketing. I don't know if it's my mood. I don't know if it's, like, what they're playing at the theaters, but it does not feel like we're approaching the summer.
Everything feels like there's a lack of anticipation or hype for many things.
Yeah, like life feels pretty...
Maybe because there's so much happening in life and there's so much coming out. Let's start with Toy Story 5.
This is one of my most anticipated, to be honest.
Do you, Forky, to Karen Beverly to be your beloved bride?
Yeah, Forky!
I now pronounce you husband and knife.
Ooh, the animation is delightful.
Whoa, what? That's crazy.
Bonnie.
Dream nightmare.
There's a package for you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Hi there, I'm
begins.
Lilypad. Let's play.
Extinction, not again.
Top-notch humor so far.
Okay.
I want to talk to you, device.
Please, call me Lily.
Me and the toys have been working all summer to try and get Bonnie to make friends.
Yeah.
But then you had
She's like a
ruined it.
lead.
You're not even listening to me.
I'm always listening. See? No, in Spanish.
I got dibs on behind the dresser.
Bonnie,
Jessie, hello.
is it as bad out there for toys as they say it is?
We're finding more abandoned toys each day.
Oh, that's how we bring Woody
Tex
back.
invaded our house, too.
I don't know, Jessie. Toys are for play, but tech is for everything.
I'm losing Bonnie to this device.
You got a
Oh, what a needle drop.
Came here as fast as I could.
Why are you wearing a dress, Woody?
It's called a poncho, Forky.
Someone needs a brown marker.
Hold. Who goes there?
An
Hey,
ancient toy.
call back.
It's been too long, cowboy.
What are you, some sort of old man toy?
What?
She thinks you're old because you're bald, Woody.
That's such a great way to age a toy.
From the same century. So long, toys.
This is going to break my heart.
Whoa.
Buses!
Wait.
Just give me away, boss.
Wow, she's really the enemy.
On this planet is to make a child happy.
Bonnie still needs us.
Buzz, you stay here. I'm going with them. You don't think I can do it?
No, they're back to bickering.
Buzz's ego.
Poncho.
It's good to see them fighting again.
It sure is.
Poncho makes him look like a superhero.
Oh, man. That looks so good to me, dude.
That looks delightful.
Oh, the heart of the Toy Story movies is so big and like it's so applicable at all times to where I am in life, and that just hits.
Elaborate.
I really love the Toy Stories because the first one came out when I was, you know, the right age to really still be into my toys. And every time I see one, it always is, whether it's passing the mantle or accepting the end of childhood. Like 3 is the end of childhood, 4 is passing the mantle. This one is technology ruining what we consider play and like our ability to connect to things that are like inanimate. I am someone that uses technology, and the internet loves to point out that like without the internet, I wouldn't have a job. I understand that. But I do think there is more harm than good in what we've turned technology into. I think like if you look at the scales, yeah, like advances in medical, advances in everything we're able to do to make life longer, advances in connection and all those things are incredibly positive. But if you look at the negative, like we've planted the seeds for our own demise societally. As close as we are because of Zoom, we're much further than we actually are. As closer than we are because we can get to things better and faster, the further we are from actually having human connection. Like the rise of the negativity of what the internet has allowed is so much stronger. And if you look at technology, there's a lot more of that, especially in the upcoming generations. Like we are the last generation that lived pre and post internet. We're the last generation that remembers like riding bikes with yellow lights and coming back when the lights turned on and going to your family. Like all that socialization is so important. And we're seeing more and more Gen Z is so insular, and I can't imagine what alpha is going to be. And I can't imagine like the next wave. I can't wait to have kids. Like I'm so excited. I'm in like about to be a dad mode. Like I'm getting married. We're talking and planning, and I'm very aware of what AI is doing to the kids that are alive right now and the protections that aren't being taken and the technology advances that are going to be ruining this generation. I'm the following. So I'm looking at this as like a cautionary thing. So for me, this trailer is a lot of like, I don't have kids yet, but if I do, how would I feel about screens? How would I feel about it listening to them all the time? How would I feel about it teaching them as opposed to me teaching my kids? So this trailer is just like the next wave of Toy Story showing me how much art can really impact my heart in a way that doesn't even exist for me yet because my kids don't.
And that is very profound.
Sometimes your sincerity sounds like just on the edge of sarcasm. I'm like,
it is very profound, Coy. I fully agree with you. I love a trailer. I love a story that is about encourage. It takes a lot of imagination to create an animated property. It takes a lot of imagination to draw and illustrate all what we saw. And like the thing of an iPad, the kind of disconnect that it can create is there's the disconnect that can happen in connection with another individual. Like you and I talking, I'd rather be on my phone, I'd rather be on my iPad and engage in that than talk with another person. But what this is also I think focusing on is that sometimes that also diminishes the connection with oneself.
yeah.
Like we distract ourselves with our phones. We distract ourselves with iPads. We distract ourselves with noise. There's always so much noise now we could fill the brain with. There's something to be said about being bored. There's something to be said about not wearing headphones and going on a walk and just listening to yourself. And when you play with your toys, that is you connecting with yourself. That is you connecting with your own level of imagination. And with the threat of what AI is evolving into. I was actually talking with Michael and John about this yesterday, is all these AI videos that kind of go around on Twitter and whatever. The part that we always see that people are quote tweeting is like, look how terrible this looks. Look how bad this looks. And my mind is going, well, actually, think of it like this. This looks pretty great for something completely made up. Where's it going to be in a few months from now? What's it going to strip us of?
Yeah.
Like, look at the acceleration of that, because we've seen bad CGI, and this looks better than a lot of bad CGI that's out there. So we have to look at it from that lens and be aware of that. And I like that this is encouraging people because the generation before us, no, after us, that's growing up is growing up where this is going to be all normalized stuff. They're going to be used to it. So I think kind of going after the heart of reminding people, hey, get in tune with your actual imagination, you know?
A huge reason I love comics is because they're so imaginative, not just because the creators are like, and one artist and one writer generally jamming is so much two souls, right? Like movies are super collaborative in a way I love, but there's hundreds of people shaping that art. What I love about comics is it's usually like 2 to 3 to 4 people just like sharing their souls, but you're also a part of that equation. Like I always talk about the space between the panels. To me, the adult version of me playing with toys is reading a comic because there's so much space for me to tell that story.
Sure.
And what worries me is the illiteracy of literal literacy dwindling is already huge. People not wanting to read, people not having the attention spans to read, people not being able to imagine to read. That's already so profound. Adding screens is only going to like exponentially increase that, because you're right, the stimuli, the sheer, like I think we're so close to techno-feudalism. I think we're so close to like the reason fascism can rise so aggressively is because it is the lowest common denominator and people like being taken advantage of if they don't have to make a decision. Children, if they're programmed into this, are going to be so susceptible to the horrors of the world taking complete advantage of like reality because of screens. Like people joke, Wally's coming, blah, blah, blah. Wally's here. This is what's next, and we don't even know the horrors of it yet.
Yeah.
So I love that Pixar, Wall-E example, but like Pixar is so good at telling a story that needs to be told to the audience that needs to hear it. And this looks like it's going to be great for families to go like, maybe one less hour on the screens.
Yeah.
And like kids to be like, maybe pick up a toy. Like this will be shown on a screen. I understand that. But if you're going to a theater with your family, that is such an active experience of sharing an art versus everyone watching their TV and also having their second small screen out, not sharing it. So I love movies. I love art bringing people together. I love a lesson that is clearly being told. It's also a cool throwback, just taking out all my tech aversion. I love seeing a fifth movie throwback to the first. And I love, you know, Woody having a bald spot. That speaks to me. I fucking love that we're gonna have a commentary on like not just toys aging because of the nature of technology, but toys aging literally. This is our fifth movie with these characters. They've been through it.
Yeah.
And I think there's something really magical about Pixar using, like, for example, the Buzz's storming the beach scene. The original idea for Toy Story 4 was like them going to Japan and a bunch of rogue Buzzes like taking over and stuff. Like the idea of them using some of their own ideas and reincorporating and modernizing, and that's the power of animation in these stories. So this my jam.
It's very profound.
I'm excited. It looks great. That's one of my most anticipated of the year, and it looks good. It's always scary when you put your heart out there and you're like a fifth movie in a saga. I love.
No, I agree with you. That fifth part of it has been the thing that everyone has been contending with. Is like, what's the point? And I think the trailer actually justifies its timeliness.
100%.
And as I was watching it, now I haven't seen any of the Toy Stories in quite some time. Like definitely over. I mean, the last one I saw was Toy Story 4, and I saw on the one time, but I didn't even rewatch the other Toy Stories before that. So,
do you want us to do a rewatch, Reject
I
Nation?
haven't seen that many Toy Story. I haven't rewatched Toy Story that much, but from what I remember, they haven't really felt like a Woody and Buzz movie since the first one. Am I wrong about that? Like Woody and Buzz are always the main guys.
They separate them.
Woody and Buzz are like the part one is like Woody versus Buzz.
Yeah,
and this is the first time where it really looks like it's Woody and Buzz. I don't remember Toy Story 3 that well, but I still feel like they were separated.
They separate and they come back together, and that's a big emotional beat in the third act, from what I remember. And then in 4, it's Buzz and the lady cowboy, Buzz and Bo Peep on adventure. They meet Duke Kaboom and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, they haven't really like had that much.
And that
screen
was
time
part
together.
of the fun of watching like them.
Yeah.
Team back up. But anyway, those are our thoughts on Toy Story 5.
It's also just interesting to watch them reckon with what their parent company hath wrought, given like the Apple connection to Pixar's identity. And now they're taking on the very impact of all the innovations that Apple has helped to spur on with stuff like iPads and stuff.
That's a really good level. I hadn't considered
good point.
Apple brought us this and now their own demise.
It's interesting.
That's a really good point.
Saying.
It's okay though. You can use AI to make your own Disney characters in Disney Plus and they'll own that.
Yes, they will.
It's very profound, John.
Thank you, guys. I just wanted to be profound today.
Today's SEO is just the 4 titles of the trailers and then comma. Very profound. Very profound today.
Well, what are your guys' thoughts on Toy Story 5? Leave your thoughts down below. Let's watch another Disney trailer, but I'm going to go over there and watch it since I'm probably going to have to stay home and skip the theaters and react to it. Michael, get on in here.
So is our first video together?
Their first video together?
You and I.
No. Yeah. No?
Yeah?
Have we met?
Coy.
Michael.
Pleasure.
Nice.
Let's watch this trailer. I think it is.
Maybe. Hi, everyone. Coy and I are friends.
In real life.
In
but
real
now also in 2D. For you.
2D.
Right.
Yeah, I'm terrified for this.
Before we press play,
Yeah.
I've loved the marketing. Like the posters look great. I know the internet hates
people hate
all
the
of it.
marketing.
So I
Yeah.
wanted to know your thoughts because I'm an outside
Yeah.
going like I'm casual. Am I not invested enough to be mad? Or from the inside, should I be mad?
Yeah, so and this is a really weird thing to say. I'm really worried this is going to be a big box office flop. And I find myself as a fan wondering, why am I worried that this is going to be a box office flop?
All your Disney stock's going to go down.
Well, no, we're not supposed to talk. Disney shills are not supposed to talk about their Disney stock.
It looks amazing.
No, I mean, I think I had no lack of things that didn't make me mad in the last season of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I struggled.
I have struggled trying to justify why this film needs to exist. That being said, I love The Mandalorian. I love Grogu. And I appreciate that they want to give this the cinematic capstone that it deserves.
Okay.
Whether it's going to be that, I don't know. But it certainly feels like this is the end of the road of the original Disney Plus era.
Yeah.
And sort of end of phase 1, so to speak. So we'll see. We'll see. I have so many. I want it to be great. And I feel like a lot of people kind of don't.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the standee I just saw pop up at AMC. I like the poster. So
I mean, it's cool.
hopefully
It's
the
retro.
trailer looks good.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
All right, here we go, chaps. Take one more step. You'll be further from the Shire than ever before. All right.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, very pretty. Excellent. Good classic theme.
Never touch the buttons.
Nice to see the Razor Crest again. Where?
I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for
Is that Scorsese?
Close for the night. Thank you.
I think
It's Martin Scorsese.
gangsters.
Oh, wow. Are we on Narshada?
The
Or
Empire.
Narhada?
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
All right, we've seen a little clip
Oh,
of
this
this.
looks sick.
Saw that in Tokyo.
Oh, I
for
thought that was going to be
Celebration.
longer, but that was sick.
Oh, it's a U-wing.
Hey!
That's Sigourney Weaver. Guess that training with Luke has paid off.
War.
Strap in.
Some of the familiar visuals just still warm my heart seeing Lightspeed their way.
Wait, is
Oh,
that?
and unmasking in the trailer.
Is that Embo? Oh,
Was that two Hutts?
that was 2 Hutts.
One of them, Jeremy Allen White, I think, right?
I don't think those were Rhoda.
Oh, okay. A whole bunch of Babu freaks.
A lot of
I
Babu
won't always
freaks.
be around to protect him.
Oh. Ah,
There he
Rhoda.
is. Look at jacked Jeremy Allen White. Hut.
Do we run?
Oh, this is excellent. Is that
fight.
Zeb?
I like this.
From episode
Yeah,
1?
it's Zeb.
Oh!
No. From
That was
Rebels.
Sebulba, my bad.
Oh, wait, a baby Greedo.
What are you waiting for?
Get in that carriage, kid. that is probably more power than a child should
Oh,
have.
that's really cute. Now this is pod racing.
Cute.
Let's save the rest for after dinner.
You would not pass the marshmallow test.
Cute.
That felt joyous.
It's so hard because I know this is as passionate a fandom as any given comic property.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed Star Wars being something that I don't have the depth of knowledge of that I can enjoy as a surface fan. To me, that looked fun as hell.
I think, and this is where I think some of my Star Wars brethren and I separate. I think it's okay to have fun every once in a while. And honestly, I think A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like for what that did for Westeros and Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
kind of feel like it's the same principle. It's okay to have a little fun adventure. I mean, for me, I'm always thinking about what is the hook
Sure.
that is going to get the next generation of fans excited and involved. You know, I mean, one of the challenges that I think The Mandalorian contended with, and part of why I think I've just been so grumpy about it all, is that because of the decisions that were made in the sequel trilogy, they used Mandalorian to help canonically retcon a lot of the decisions of like somehow Palpatine returned and all these different sort of big seismic things. They needed to justify that story-wise, and The Mandalorian was a vehicle to do that.
Yeah.
This story I think I'm excited for because at least just based on what we saw, I don't think it's connected to any of that. I think it's just
looks
like
shiny.
we're going to have a fun time dealing with Jabba the Hutt's very, very fit son, who is also an extraordinary chef. But Yeah, I'm super jazzed. It was cool. There's a couple. The phrase "glub shitto."
Go on.
John.
My friend Mallory introduced me to Glub Shitto last year.
So Glub
Shitto fan over here.
I'm
excited to see him pop up in this.
I knew from the moment the trailer started we were going to see Glub. Glub Shitto is sort of an internet caricature of the random animated, very obscure characters that some fans get really excited about, and then the general public has no idea. So you got excited about. Embo is the epitome of a Glub Shitto.
I love, because for me, the rumor is we're getting Tarantula in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's...
Is that your universe's Glub Shitto?
He's on the cover of Spectacular Spider-Man #1.
Yeah.
He's a martial artist with spiky boots that kicks. He's preposterous in the coolest ways.
Yeah.
When he pops up in the comics, you're like, Tarantula! The average person will never have
this
the
is like a
feeling
Clone
I feel.
Wars season
Amazing.
3, season 4 obscure bounty hunter.
Great.
Whose really only defining feature is a very cool hat.
About a sixth of Spider-Man villains are like that. Spider-Man's got the greatest rogues gallery, I think, next maybe tied to Batman, but you have to have a lot of that to make the giant universe.
100%.
And it seems like they finally acknowledge that in much the same way. It's like, well, who's this guy?
Yeah, and I think for me it's so long as it doesn't hinder, if I can appreciate Tarantula.
Yes.
As somebody that has heard of Tarantula for the first time today.
Yes.
That is an exciting thing. And I feel like that's where they struggled a little bit in The Mandalorian, because there's a huge payoff if you have consumed every little tiny piece of Star Wars content over the past decade. That being said, trying to introduce all the nuance of Mandalorian subculture and all these other additional
2
characters
hours in a kids movie,
and then to
that dude flipping around in the sky in the rafters. I thought that was Sebulba. Got excited. Couldn't have been, because this takes place after.
No, not. I mean, well, Sebulba's coming back.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the star of the new pod racing game that's coming out.
Fantastic.
Sebulba.
But I thought that was him
and Glub Shitto, man.
Yeah, he's a classic Glub Shitto.
The guy you got excited about with he popped up in something in live action. Was it The Acolyte?
No. Well, who are you pointing at?
The the guy with the beard. That guy.
Oh, him. That's Zeb Aurelius.
Zeb popped up in some, didn't he?
Zeb was in
The Acolyte. Skeleton Key. I watched all the live action stuff.
Skeleton Key.
Skeleton Crew.
Sorry, that was adorable.
I'm doing great.
That was adorable.
I'm doing great.
The Kate Hudson Star Wars movie.
Yeah. No. Zeb showed up. I think he was in The Mandalorian. Or one of the something dealing with the New Republic.
Okay.
One of the spinoff.
I feel like I've seen this guy.
But but he's a huge character in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
An amazing guy.
What a guy.
And he once told me that I am a member of the Rebel Alliance.
Is he on one of the rides?
No. He the voice actor.
Oh,
yeah, because he was
okay.
also in Avatar: of the Last Airbender.
There's that
when
pirate guy that invites you to join.
That's Hondo Inaka.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, that's Jim Cummings. That's Pooh Bear.
No way.
Yeah.
See, this is why I had to talk to you about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love this because it feels like when someone asks me one Spider-Man question, I'm like, how much time you got?
That's Steve.
It's good old Steve.
Yeah, Steve Bloom.
Him?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So this trailer for me was maybe even more than Skeleton Crew, clearly for kids.
Yeah.
But what you said to start your review, I think gateway points into stuff are way more important now than appeasing people that are going to see it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think people that discover this age 10 in 7 years, 5 years watching Andor is more important to me than anything, because my pipeline is how do we get people to Andor? How do we get people to the stuff that I think is, to me...
Fascism.
That's how we get to Andor. I'm not talking about today in real life. I'm talking about in fiction. But the thing about Rogue One or Andor or, selfishly the things I see Star Wars as, the Bill Burr episodes, those moments are worth all of the things that I'm more neutral on. Not negative, not
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I look at my niece and nephew, for example. They're right at the age where this is going to be the perfect movie, but they actually are too young to have seen The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
This will be their entry point.
And that's awesome.
But you know what? I think it is time that you walk away from this chair.
That's it, folks.
That's what we call a segue in the biz, kids.
I did a Jedi mind
Segue.
trick.
That's what we call
I used the Force too hard.
destroying the
Sorry,
set. Woo! You knocked over your own name tag, Coy.
That's
Your
tough.
Comic-Con name tag is on the floor.
on camera.
I'm just gonna keep this guy here. Wow, that is tough.
Oh my god, I actually don't need to relight Greg completely.
Hello, Greg.
Hello, Michael. Coy knocks over the chair and goes, was that the chair?
Did I do that?
Did I do that?
Me with the chair. I knew I responded.
We're going to watch the House of the Dragon trailer right now, season 3.
Dragon Tales.
I need to
Dragon
rewatch this show.
Tales.
There's so many shows, follow-up seasons coming out. Did you like the last season?
I had mixed feelings about it. I mean, I think I had mixed feelings about it, but I think all in all, it's in the world of Westeros, and I love that. And even stuff that I don't love is still some of my favorite television.
Okay, cool. Well, I remembered kind of liking it. I remember really enjoying it. I just remember not really digging the Daemon stuff. Outside of that, I remember pretty much enjoying it. And then I got on the internet, and I was like, everyone hates this. And I'm like, I kind of like this
I
a
think
lot.
just the first season was such a great character piece, and I feel like they lost that somewhere along season 2. But it's okay because the spectacle was spectacular, and we love spectacular spectacle.
I ever thought that was the thing that was anyway. Let's watch it. I thought that was one of
You
the
thought the
complaints was
opposite?
that there was lack of spectacle.
Oh, lack of-
That's what I remember people saying. Because like it ends like it's going to go into like a big battle.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah, they
We're
said-
finally going to get the
they
payoff.
said, we're going to have to sell the entire studio in order to pay for this next season. And that's how Netflix bought HBO.
We don't know for sure yet.
That's how Warner Brothers
sold itself
to Paramount.
That'd be amazing.
All right, gang. It's time for House
Harry
of the
Potter
Dragon.
versus Sonic.
Dragon Time. Harry Potter versus. I'm here for it. All right. It's the crossover we didn't know we needed. Oh, I love the original Iron Throne.
Hey.
Where were you?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, she went to Dragonstone.
To open the gates.
She will open the gates of the Red Keep
Yeah.
and surrender to me.
And her family will
You
live.
cannot trust her.
Oh boy.
The king has abdicated the throne. A new dawn is coming. A new line of unsullied kings.
Oh, sick. The high
Wow.
towers look sick.
Nice.
You are the queen of dragons.
So much intense stares.
You have an absolute power within your grasp.
I love the Valerians, man.
Oh my god, damn. This is so much scale.
I think they heard you, Greg.
Soon or late, Rhaenyra will send her new dragons here. It would be the end.
Whoa. Oh, this is excellent.
Oh my god.
This is the moment you become queen.
It was just so much like mood, emotion, and it was so primal and visual. It was so cool. I was expecting like, political talking.
We're very upset about your tariffs that you've done.
It's all the things that they complained about all in one.
all the.
That's probably why George R. R. Martin's not a fan of the season.
Yeah.
They cut out all the depth for
I mean,
I'm just joking. I'm sure it's fine. Let's not do any spoilers, by the way.
No. I'm not touching anything. I'm curious to see how far they go this season. But
did they say how many seasons? Is this supposed to be final?
I think there's uno mas.
Okay, all right.
We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'm super. Number one, like even the knowing a little bit of how it all plays out, it's also still absolutely terrifying to see their interpretation of what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
But those battles, I mean, it's the time for talking is over. would appear in Westeros.
Well, it's cool to have Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which gives you that more intimate, dialogue-driven type of character moments with a very different vibe. It's like small and intimate, right?
Yeah.
And then you got a completely different thing here. And Game of Thrones fans, we want both.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
both. And now we're getting both with these two shows that are, not kind of concurrently running, it's like
Yeah,
this
I
season
mean,
and that
one
season,
right
this
after
season,
the
that.
other, which is brilliant that they, I think the 2-year gaps have been devastating for this series, and I get it. Like that's not an easy production to put on. I mean, you're 10 episodes in a season, an hour per episode. That's 10 hours. That's and it's a few features. I think that this is all going to hit so much harder because of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah.
Because we live in that world of repercussion of everything that occurs here.
Yeah.
Like even being like, like looking out for like Blackfire and looking out for, Dark Sister and some of the, so I'm super excited about that. I also love the casting in the show.
Yeah. Are you concerned about the George R.R. Martin stuff of how he completely disassociated himself from everything?
Yeah. From Ryan Condal. Yeah. I mean, I think
Do you want to explain a little bit of like what he said?
What happened? Yeah, basically, about a week before A Night of the Seven Kingdoms came out, George R.R. Martin bashed Ryan Condal, who is the showrunner for House of the Dragon, basically saying that not very cooperative in being collaborative, not really listening to George's vision. The way that I interpreted what was
It's not
read,
the first time we've heard of this person not listening to a George vision.
No, and it's that goes back to Game of Thrones. Interestingly enough, Ryan Condal, who is trying to be as diplomatic as possible in the response, even though George R. Martin dropped a big one on him.
Yeah.
I think the issue is it sounded like it wasn't big enough for George.
Oh, really?
In terms of the spectacle and in terms of the things. Like Ryan made it sound like it was a budgetary issue. I certainly think that the character piece, I mean, I think about the scene for me that like stands out is when, is it end of season 1, I think, when the king re-enters the throne room and he's walking with his stick and his face is all deteriorated.
Yeah, it's season 1.
That to me was the best piece of Game of Thrones content that we've gotten from any scene in any part of the, and it was so like it made all of the breakup and the fight between the Greens. It just felt so painful because you have this personal connection.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see how I'm curious. I mean, the source material is pretty clear about how this should go. But certainly with 10 hours of storytelling, there's no lack of room for interpretation and imagination. And I can see how that would perhaps piss off George R.R. Martin.
Yeah. Well, it looks awesome.
It does look awesome.
It
What
look
are you most excited for?
Dragon stuff.
Dragon stuff?
Dragon stuff.
Who's your favorite dragon?
All of them. Every dragon. I can remember all their names. I can even tell you one of their names.
What's your favorite Valyrian steel sword?
Oh my God. This is such like a dick move what you're doing. You know I don't know the answer to any of these. You're one of those cruel.
If you were a Lord Paramount.
This is like old Comic-Con. This is like cruel. This is so mean. I'm like, why is this guy like
You're gatekeeping, Michael. You're gatekeeping.
What is the sigil that has a kraken on it?
Dude, that's not Game of Thrones. That's Clash of the Titans, you moron.
Ah, damn it.
It's 100%. That's where the Kraken stems from.
It's funny.
And Pirates of the Caribbean too.
Honestly, I read that the entire source inspiration for this was Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Oh,
like
House
Valerian is literally supposed to be representative of Jack Sparrow.
Oh, that's cool. I like Jack Sparrow.
Me too.
I can't wait for Margot Robbie to take over for him. Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on House of the Dragon?
Oh, also, no chill after the big end of season reveal for House of the Dragon to just drop this immediately. Like, let us cope.
Sure. It's time for you to leave, or whatever you did in your last bit.
It is time for me to leave.
What I said was that the chair, as in, did I do that with the chair?
No.
I did.
No.
I broke everything.
No. Let's watch The Mummy.
Woo!
I think this is what Koi's expertise comes in.
Guys, I know so much about Egyptian.
This is the one I've been wanting to watch.
About Egyptian. I am a huge Egyptian
I was gonna
historian.
say history or artifacts, and I was like, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna let that be.
This is
All
the
right,
one
Lee Cronin.
This is one I'm most looking forward to.
Of
Of all the trailers.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, this was in your top most anticipated.
Was it?
I thought so.
It was somewhere.
Yeah.
Was it? It came up. It came up in conversation.
Because I had Toy Story on mine.
I'm pretty sure it was number 1.
Yeah. Street Fighter number 2.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember my top.
I think
anticipated
15
one.
was Oppenheimer 2 or whatever that Nolan movie's called.
Yeah.
All right.
The Oppenheimerist.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Can I get 2 slices of pizza?
No.
Of course, honey.
No, you never ever finish 2.
This guy's everywhere.
Hello?
Mr. and Mrs. Cannon. I'm Deputy Chief at the U.S. Embassy.
Okay.
Your daughter Katie has been found.
Whoa.
She's alive.
This is different.
Wow.
It's very important you fully prepare yourself for what you're about to see.
Nice.
No sudden moves. No loud noises.
Whoa. Whoa.
Split diopter shot.
These shots are crazy. This looks scary.
We're here.
She's been missing for 8 years. What was our daughter doing in a 3,000-year-old sarcophagus?
Oh, man, that's
She
sinister.
just needs our care and lots of love.
How many others were found?
57.
Wow.
How many of them were still alive?
What happened to Katie?
That's the tagline.
What really happened to her?
Casalo tu señor de los milagros.
Say something.
What?
Ew. It's not even gory, but it feels gross.
Say something.
Oh, dude, I love this trailer.
It is so scary.
I love this.
Don't worry, Grandma. It's fun to be dead.
So she's just like a possessed...
A mummy.
Not a mummy. Oh, my God. This is so like Evil Dead meets the Mummy. Oh, my God. The Beatles. Oh, God.
I just want my daughter back.
Oh, that looks awesome. That looks so cool. I love that trailer.
That was a lot.
That was exciting.
That was, I mean, that must have been incredible in theaters. Imagine just like sitting in the dark and that trailer coming out. That was scary.
That was genuinely
That was scary in here.
With like a
There's a lot of
lights on a small monitor
Yeah.
far from us. So
That was
like,
scary in this
damn, this is
environment.
intense.
I got like struck quiet.
Did
That
you
was
like?
crazy.
Did you like that, John?
Yeah, I thought that was really sick. I mean, I was also adjusting a lot of things during the trailer, but the moments I caught were, I mean, like, because they're also talking about bringing back Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, and so you know what that's going to be, and I've been so curious up until now to see. It's like The Mummy is such a fertile ground for a horror movie, and yet it seems so hard to like really nail it in the here and now as a horror movie.
I went to the
This looks
Louvre
like
last
that.
year, and there was an Egyptian exhibit, and there was a mummy, like an actual mummified person. And it was so disconcerting to just, for me, to be near a body that I knew was like a mummified human being. It was just such an odd thing to make an object out of a person and just have it in the middle of a bunch of objects.
Yeah.
Like it felt so dehumanizing. And I remember being so disconcerted by like seeing limbs wrapped. And it really affected my like, I want to leave this area. And like Anya loves Egyptian stuff. So she was hanging out and I was just like, I can't be near that thing. This captured the disconcerting nature of just like their kid who they want to help and solve. Like when it was such an object, like in the back seat, and like there was such an inhumanness to it that I really liked. Very affecting.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it so much. That's my jam, man. What I love, like the look of this, how everything kind of has this like yellow dirt, deserty, like kind of grimy vibe to almost every look when it's like outside, or even some of the shots that are inside. You know,
It looks like it's shot through the shrouds,
Yeah.
like through the actual wrapping of the mummy itself.
yeah, I love it, and like how they actually embrace this like body horror element. I mean, there are parts of it that feel like a different movie that's not The Mummy. It feels a bit, like
There's some Blumhouse shots that are like, that's a Blumhouse thing.
It's like possession, horror, Evil Dead, Exorcist level. But there's a plenty. It's still mixed in with enough of mummy stuff to still feel like the Mummy and not just. It's kind of like how I don't feel about the Bride movie. It's like that's the thing with the Bride. I'm like, okay, it's Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, but once they're resurrected, it just looks like it's Bonnie and Clyde, and that's it. This doesn't give me that impression that like, oh, she's been mummified, but now she's just evil demon girl. Like it seems like there's a whole. It's still doing mummy stuff, and I like how the wrapping feels like disconcerting and body horror. This feels like ugly and sinister.
Yeah, it looks angry. It looks malicious.
I didn't see the Wolfman movie, but I heard that was bad, and this looks like a good version.
So what's interesting about the Wolfman is it was way more of a character study. And it almost felt like a play. Like there was a lot of set pieces that were just two people talking. And I really loved that I was so invested in the characters for the Wolfman. So I'm curious because I'm someone who liked the Wolfman, what this is going to be because of Lee Cronin. Like his horror stamp is so strong. And then Blumhouse feels like it's all over this. I'm wondering what that collaboration feels like.
Well, it's very it is a similar plot to the Evil Dead movie he did. And I could pretty much explain what the plot of that is. A mother, they're in an apartment. They're really they're poor, and the mom is possessed by a demon. And what do they do when the mom is possessed? So it's kind of like that, but inverted with the daughter. The daughter's possessed, so you don't want the daughter to actually. Now I think about it, it's like almost an incredibly similar type of plot.
It really does. Hey,
it's like it's just the mom, but the daughter.
Do this. I'm
making this Evil Dead movie gave me an idea for a mummy.
Mummy this kid. Let's mummy a kid up real quick.
Incredibly similar plot idea, but with the because now it's in a house. It seems like they will actually change locations though. It'll primarily be in the house because it seems like they're like exploring like other territories and are outside and does all the deserty stuff. So I loved it a lot, and I just hope it doesn't drop that ball and still embracing the fact that it is a mummy film and not just a possession horror movie.
Also, just as the piece of art that is the trailer itself, removing the movie The Mummy, I want to give credit to like whoever edited this, that opening. We were both like silent when that phone call happened. And I was so impressed at the tone where just like, we just met. We don't know these people. All of a sudden you're so invested because of like 2 lines in a phone call.
Yeah.
Really impressively edited and sound mixed.
Yeah. Like this is a plot idea that we've seen in other horror movies. Like, oh my God, they've been missing and they finally come back. But when it is your little girl, it's different where the mummy movies generally are the mummy's the bad guy and we have to fight the mummy.
Right.
And
here it's like we don't know what to do.
We don't want to kill her. You know, like it's our daughter. What do we do? So yeah, it's cool.
And we will not be mixing up the Brendan Fraser one with this. Like I like how strong this is. Like there's no doubt.
Well, and I was gonna say for Blumhouse's The Mummy as a look, it does look like they're gonna still deliver on some like really gooey, monster stuff because I think that's a big. I haven't actually seen the Lee Wolfman, but from every complaint I heard, it was like it's too much of a psychological to A24 and not enough monster movie.
I mean, that's what I liked about it because it was very. Heady.
Yeah, and this looks like it has that thing of like, ooh, you got the cool aesthetic of like we're on an archaeological dig or something. Like these two parents must be archaeologists of some kind, and I love that old timey like, ooh, we unlocked an ancient curse from the wrong tomb or whatever.
Yeah, they still have that. I like the whole wrapping in sarcophagus because it gives this. It still has this ancient vibe to it, where normally possession horror often feels rooted in Catholicism. That's usually what possession horror feels like. It's you gotta get the priest and do the whole thing, holy water and the cross.
We did get that close up of the rosary.
The rosary,
the neck,
But that's what I like is I like that they're probably gonna acknowledge that. Like we gotta get a priest in here, but like a priest ain't gonna work on this Egyptian
mummy.
Shit. Like it's a completely different belief system we're contending with here.
Friggin' call Anubis, I guess.
And the little girl looks terrifying. And I don't know how they always do it, but Blumhouse always feels like they make things to make good mazes out of.
I like how her skin feels like it's a shedding. Like it's really disturbing.
I wonder if they're going to do a thing where like the wrappings are like underneath her skin or something.
That's what it looks like. It's really gross.
And I mean, shouts out to Jack Rayner, I think is his name, because that guy is low-key an underrated actor.
He's in Scream 7. He's in one of them
he's in that Transformers movie with Mark Wahlberg or something.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
He's in one of them Transformers.
Yeah,
this guy. He's in lots of stuff.
You guys were like, he's in a lot of stuff. I'm like, I don't recognize this guy at all.
He's in your favorite trailer, Scream 7. He's the guy that goes in the house and he goes like, it's an animatronic. And
oh, he's that idiot?
Yeah.
He's in Sing Street. He's the older brother.
Oh, yeah.
He's great in that.
The animated movie?
No, Sing Street the musical.
No, Sing is the animated movie. Sing Street is also a musical, but it's live action and it's in like Ireland.
What's Street Fighter?
The best movie of 2026.
Sing Street Fighter is the sequel to Sing and Sing Street with Fighter.
Street Fighter the musical.
Sing Street Fighter. I'm impressed. That scared me. Like that was very affecting.
Yeah, that was my favorite trailer of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, how would you rank the 4?
The Mummy.
Yeah.
Toy Story 5. Because I was present for that one.
Oh yeah, you didn't see 2 of them.
No, I did. I saw them. I saw them all. I saw Mandalorian and Grogu. Mandalorian and no, that's definitely the bottom. I put House of the Dragon and Mando and Grogu. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a kids movie, which maybe is like not gonna appease the Star Wars audience that wants.
Yeah.
Like this is the first live action in 7 years, so I get that anger, but I also think like a good entryway point.
Are allowed to have a movie. Look, I know everyone hates Thor: Love and Thunder, but sometimes you got to have one for the kids. All right.
I think it looks like a very cute kid Star Wars movie.
Yeah. And that's okay.
I just feel like Mandalorian was building up, and like the plot was getting like more heavy. And
then this is not that.
And then this is like, no, it's just an adventure.
We've got a baby.
Also that, I mean, like we should have some kid ones, but we did the Skeleton Crew. Like, you know,
we haven't really had an adult Star Wars in a while.
To take this and force it to be that after what you built up to.
It feels like an episode of the week, and it doesn't even feel like essential to like completing your Mandalorian experience. So
it does feel surprisingly light, which again, is just like a weird conversation of intent, because like there's kiddishness in this story, in this world, but like to jump from a show to a movie with what could be just sort of like a charming middle chapter between the bigger story almost seems like you're kneecapping your scale.
I will say the Mummy looks scary enough that I'm like, maybe I'll see it. Mandalorian and Grogu looks kiddish enough. I'm like, maybe I'll see it. The only one of these trailers that has me like must is Toy Story 5.
Oh wow. This is a must for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do
you know what's in theaters?
It's April 16th.
Yeah. Did they say that anywhere in the trailer?
They have it in the top corner the whole time.
Do they really?
You were looking at it the entire runtime.
No way.
It says right
Cinemas,
there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Crazy.
That watermark with the title, April 16th.
I just didn't know how else I would find this information.
This is the soonest one coming.
Unless they were very
This is out in 2 months.
They should watermark all their trailers.
2 months, so Greg can ignore April 16th.
No, I'm never going to forget now. I was just staring at that the whole time.
Middle of 2 minutes.
Didn't catch one visual. Just like, wow.
What happened to Katie?
Save that date.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. How would you rank the trailers? We got to go, but thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks, Michael, for wherever you ventured off to. Thanks, John, for setting everything up. I know you got a hell of a day right now.
It's all good, man. It's been fun to be here with you guys and to glimpse these trailers.
Yeah,
glad I could break everything
feverishly
before we
color
went.
correct you as you change cameras.
Thanks, buddy. All right. We'll see you guys soon. Peace out.
Pieces.